Samantha. I wonder if we're related. Wendy Schwartz. That's right, it's got a T. I think a T is the Jewish version of spelling Schwartz. In German is Schwarz, I think, or maybe it's also Jewish, or Schwarz, Schwarz, which is black. A busy 2nd Avenue. Always congested, always crowded. It's an overcast day here in New York, but temps are in the upper 40s, so it's not so bad. Cole Franson, when you coming to Unity? Delivery man putting his bike to the bench and a junior could care less. Hey, Carlene. Any of that turkey pasta left over? I got the idea to go live from you. Good morning. I tried another bench today. We tried to walk by and then he put his paws up on it and demanded I lift him up on it. I could leave this dog here, walk home, and come back, and he'd still be sitting here. He would spend his whole day sitting on this bench if he wanted to, or if I left him here.
Over here, look over here. There you go.
Coffee, water. It's more Brooklyn at times. And a little nasally. Too bad the pizzeria over here closed down. They made great pizza. It's called Two Boots. Thin crust. Went out of business. If we were open now, I'd be able to smell something good. Junior. Junior. Doesn't even know his name. He watches dogs and people. And Squeak is here at my feet. The old lady, 12 and a half years.
Hi, baby. You want a good shot? You do your thing.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Bye. He did. If he sees anybody paying attention to Squeak, he immediately gets up and demands some attention as well. He's an attention hog and whore. Yeah, this is Walter TV right now. Keep going, Junior. Oh, your head is so heavy. I was contacted by a breeder in I think it's either Idaho, and I think they're called Rocky Mountain Bulldogs. I had him tested for HU. I'm waiting for the results, and if he comes back negative, I think they want to use him. Their stud dog, their male champion, I think is test positive, and I think that means is their dog can be inclined to get bladder stones. So their female is negative that they want to use him for. So if he comes back negative, I think this could happen fairly soon. I think it's a white bulldog as well. I already sent them the pedigree, and waiting for the results to come back. Where you going, Junior? Come here. So if he comes back negative, then I hope it happens soon. Though I would love to have a puppy. I don't think I could do that right now. But I'll let everybody know. Obviously, they would just be paying a stud fee and for the services, and so I have no say in the litter. But that's usually the case. I had a male champion that I had shown some years back. He was a Cherokee champion, and I studied him out a couple of times as well. And I bred him to Squeak at one point, and had a breeder that was a friend of mine who lived in Florida, raised the two puppies, and we ended up selling one and keeping one for a while, then giving him away, because I had too many dogs at the time, so I couldn't have another. But it takes a lot of work to raise bulldogs and breed them. I'll keep everybody posted if this goes through. I'm sure you might have to put a down payment in a deposit on a pup in advance. I mean, I would love to have another junior or puppy from him. I'm not sure why I haven't seen any more puppies out of his father. His father's spectacular, and he's got great conformation, big bone, big head, and I know he was bred. He was studded out, I think, a couple of times, but I haven't seen any other puppies listed on Exact Classic out of Walter Senior. But if I see anything, obviously I would let everybody know. I get a lot of interest in whose breeder, where I got him, and I haven't seen any postings with Walter puppies on Exact Classic in quite a while. But their puppies are terrific anyway. Exact Classic is out of Indiana, and Muggsy's Bulldogs, they're also out of Indiana, and I think they co-own Junior's dad, and I think they they have a business relationship, obviously, and they use his dad for stud fees and breeding. I'm not sure if they're still showing his dad. He's a grand champion now, I believe. I took Junior to a few shows. He's a little bit of a problem showing. I worked with him, but maybe I didn't work hard enough with him. He's got great conformation in many ways. He just didn't like people messing with his mouth. Stacking him wasn't so bad, but it takes an enormous amount of time and effort to finish a bulldog, especially dealing with the politics of the show ring. I did that in the past. It can take you up to 30 shows or more over the course of a year to try to finish a dog that is, say a prospect and could be made a champion. It just requires a lot of time and effort and money. If you're a breeder, you've got it in. If you're a handler, you get a leg up. And if you're not, you just have to keep going and plugging away at it, it's a very difficult thing to do, and it's costly in the end. You know, renting a car in New York City for 2 days is a couple of $100 at least. Entering the shows for 2 days is nearly $100 or a little less, and then your time and travel and all that, and sometimes it's just for nothing. You know, you can waste 5 hours of your day and come back with nothing. And it takes a long time. It's usually pretty much every weekend, especially in the tri-state area here, of traveling around. Yeah, Walter was sold as a show prospect. I think they parted with him because they, you know, as they told me, and every breeder will tell you if they're honest enough, that a breeder who shows that they keep the very best dogs for themselves. The second tier dogs are show prospects, which are usually finishable dogs, but you never know how they're quite going to turn out. And then the third tier are just pet quality dogs. Many pet quality dogs are terrific too, and have great conformation. But breeders have a special eye, and they know what the judges are looking for, especially in the Bulldog world. But when a breeder has their hands on a really good dog, they're not going to let go of it. They'll even hold on to it for 6 to 8 months, and then sometimes it just might be a matter of having too many dogs at the same time, or too many dogs that look alike, campaigning them, so they'll let one of those dogs go. Usually at you know, maybe a slight discount, or nearly the same price. I mean, most people want to spend, if they're going to spend a few $1,000s on a Bulldog, they'll do it when they're 8 weeks old. And the longer you keep them, unless you're a good breeder, they're still easy to get rid of. But if you're holding on to a dog and it's a pet quality dog, it gets to be costly, and then you have to reduce your price the longer you have it. Hi, Kennedy. He's huggable. He loves attention. And he's got a great temperament. He gets along great with all dogs. A little overcast today. The sun looks like it's maybe going to peek out. A lot of construction on 2nd Avenue and all over the east side. The old tenement buildings here are pre-war, and in many parts of the neighborhood here, they're all coming down, and high rises are going up all around the Upper East Side. There's the 2nd Avenue subway, 86th Street entrance, down that way. That's 83rd Street. Great having a subway on my corner. Guy's sitting on the bench. He probably wants to go over and say hello to him. It is a square foot in this neighborhood. I think a new one-bedroom apartment in that building going up over there will probably cost over $1 million at least. It's ridiculous how much a square foot costs here in Manhattan. It's super expensive. It's probably more expensive in other neighborhoods. This is an old German-Hungarian neighborhood called Yorktown, and there's still some remnants of the old German and Hungarian businesses that are around here. There's a bakery, there's a Heidelberg restaurant, there's a Hungarian Catholic school, and a German church down the street over here. And but like most neighborhoods in New York, the neighborhoods turn over after 1 or 2 generations. Especially places like Brooklyn, where you had a large Norwegian community where I grew up, and they're all gone. And Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, was an Italian neighborhood. It's now Asian and Russian. So, you know, things change, life goes on.
I shot up for my daughter.
Hey, Steven. Hey, next week, weather permitting, I'll ride over to the west side on the bike, and we'll go for a cruise. Ah, 2-bedroom? It depends. So a lot of the newer buildings up here, they're all doorman buildings, and for 2-bedroom, probably $1.5 million, even much more than that. Could be nearly $2 million. It depends on how many square feet and new construction. A lot of the older buildings like mine, they're co-op buildings. So those are mostly 1-bedroom. Some people have combined two apartments, and you can make a 2-bedroom that way, and actually 3 bedrooms, depending on how you reconfigure it. And those are a lot less per square foot. Not a lot less, but they are definitely less per square foot. Because not all of them have doormen, and not all of them will have the amenities of a brand new construction. So, but the maintenance is ridiculous here. You can spend $1,100 a month in just maintenance fees. Add that to your mortgage, and you can see how quickly how much you're paying per month. It's exorbitant, but it's what it is. Two-bedroom, it's probably, it could be up to nearly $2 million sometimes. And it depends on the neighborhood. There are certain neighborhoods that are much more desirable, especially the Upper West Side, downtown, Tribeca, and all other areas like that, the Village. I think with the subway up here, that raised the value of all the apartments, especially on my street, that are co-ops. Hey, Modi, I miss you. When are you coming to New York? Unity's got a new space, 6,000 square feet on 14th Street. I see you winning lots of medals in Texas. To buy, to rent. To buy it could cost upwards of $1.5 million to $2 million, depending on the property. To rent, that could be $3,000 for 2 bedrooms or more. Here's a typical New York dog walker. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nearly 10 dogs in that group, or 8 or 9. To rent, as I said, rent could be $3,500 for 2 bedrooms up here, easily. Yeah, it is ridiculous. It's what it is. You could spend $1,800 for probably 500 square feet to rent, or maybe even more these days. I have no clue. But you know, you're talking about a studio. How much is a square foot in Los Angeles? I guess it depends on the neighborhood. Thanks, Linda. That's Dorian's Red Hand, made famous, or infamous, by Robert Chambers. You can look him up. The Preppy Killer, that's his nickname. I mean, 2,200 is it might be for 2 bedrooms. Yeah, I don't think you can get 2 bedrooms up here for 2,200. So that sounds like a decent deal. And the second bath is great. Yeah, I know Murat. I met him once. He choked me out. Well, he didn't choke me unconscious. I met him at Fabio Clementi's. He was a tough roll. But then again, he's a black belt. Nice guy. A really nice guy. Everybody at Fabio's was really nice. They were really nice and friendly when I went there. Wow, all the way from Turkey. Are you friends with Murat? And do you train BJJ too? old is your bulldog? Junior is 2.5 as well. Squeak is 12.5. She walks very slow these days. She has arthritis and the front left leg and left, actually right rear leg. But get around very slowly. We walk at a snail's pace together. Some smells good. Okay, I look forward to seeing the picture. I don't know. Today it's pretty gray and I don't know how beautiful it looks. That's looking south. Every other avenue goes south, so you'll have 3rd, 2nd, Lex, and 5th Avenue. And obviously York Avenue to the east. And that's looking north. And that's looking Junior. Take care, Nadim. Same here. Everybody has an opinion on pizza in New York City, but probably one of the best places to go is John's Pizzeria downtown in the village. They're the original brick oven pizzeria. It's well over 100 years old, and I thought they had terrific pizza, but you know, that's subjective. You can find great pizza all around. I used to love Two Boots. They had a thin crust that had a nice texture on the back of it. Some people like that, some people don't. But you know, when you want a good slice of pizza, there you can always find one around here. Judy inspecting the bike. Now resting his chin on it as he usually does. I've been thinking about moving out to California. We've been talking about it for a few years now, but I'm an RN here in the city, and my wife's a teacher, and you know, it's hard to walk away from a job with great benefits, but it's something I would consider. I'm going to need my heart surgery at some point, and I wouldn't consider really doing it until after that's taken care of, because there's no other place in the country I would go for the surgery. And my potential surgeon is here, so I would prefer to stick around here and have that taken care of before I would really consider a move. It's a bicuspid aortic valve. It's a congenital leaflet defect. And as you get older, it usually stenosis, gets tight and becomes calcified. I'm asymptomatic, except if my blood pressure is low, because there's not less blood going to my brain. But it's kind of like a pinched garden hose. But my echo, I think, is 2 weeks, and I'll find out what the measurements are, and I'll see what my cardiologist says. Now, I've known about it for about 20 years or so, nearly 20 years anyway, and it marches across the spectrum from moderate to severe, gradually, until you become symptomatic, and then surgery is required. Arnold Schwarzenegger had the same surgery. Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah, I've only had one surgery, and that was for my deviated septum. So, and that was an ambulatory surgery. But having your chest cracked open, I don't know. It doesn't sound too appealing, but I made peace with it. Thank you. It's actually, since I work in cardiology, it's fairly, I think I'm well versed in, and maybe too well prepared going into this. As my doctor said, I know too much. But I see patients all the time who've gone through surgeries, bypass, valve surgery, you name it, and they're doing fine. So I'm not that worried.